This podcast is being recorded and produced on Gadigal land.
We pay our respects to the traditional custodians of this country and elders past present.
We extend our respect to any First Nations, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us today.
Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Well, here we are. We're doing a part 2 for you all. Last week, Brittany ran us through her 2023 wrap-up, 2024 goals.
Which was very chaotic, to
and
say
you
the least.
spoke a lot, didn't you, Del?
I did. So this is you. I'm going to turn my microphone off and this is all you for this episode, Matt.
Which is probably a good thing because I have so much to say. I'm going to give you my 2023 wrap-up. My year was an absolute roller coaster of a year. If the roller coaster was from Final Destination 3, it was what I like to call one of the best, worst years of my life. Because a lot of not great things happened, but a lot of great things happened as well. It was very mixed emotions the whole year for me. One big thing that I'm going to talk about today is my year of health. It seems to be the thing that most people were interested in. And I thought instead of, jumping on my Instagram stories and doing 100 stories to tie everything in a bow, I'd just do an episode here and also just share with you how my year of health also coincided with how my year was going in general, because it all kind of ties together. So deep breath.
You're going to get puffed.
It's my turn to talk.
The same way I got so puffed.
I'm so excited. It's just me. Switch off. I'll have a nap.
I'll just go on my phone. I won't even listen to it. No, I'll listen to you.
Also, I feel like this episode I might need to put a little bit of a trigger warning. Like, we'll be talking about death. We'll be talking about weight. We'll be talking about fitness. We'll be talking about just all those sorts of things. I don't really know what I'm going to talk about, although I do. But I just thought I'd put one little warning here that this is going to be a bit of a different episode. And also, I feel like I'm about to get really vulnerable with the whole thing. So I'll give you one, follow the yellow brick road, and then sort of get into it. So I went into 2023 with no expectations of how it was going to go. I think 2022 was quite wild. So I was like, I'm just going to, do whatever. Now, I always set a word for myself for the year that I want to manifest or live by. Originally, it was going to be discovery. I was going to discover new things about myself. But that changed, and I'll get into that a little bit later. I did so much this year, went so many places. I started the year in New Zealand, went to South Africa, went to Fiji, went to South Australia, did my live shows, was in Melbourne multiple times, went to Queensland. I feel like I've been bloody everywhere in 2023. We also had really big things happen in my life, like Sydney World Pride was one of the most amazing things to work on and career highlights for me. Obviously saw Kylie Minogue perform there, so that was a highlight. We started this podcast, that was a highlight.
Absolutely.
I went to hospital with kidney stones, that was a highlight.
That feels like so long ago now.
And obviously got to go to South Africa to work on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here and do social promo for that. One of the most life-changing experiences of my life, and you'll hear about that soon. And I also had a year of trauma. For the first time in 2023, I had to deal with death, which I haven't really dealt with. I've had people in my life die. I've had friends die, but no one really in the way that it impacted me in 2023. At the start of the year, my granddad passed away. Sky's mum passed away this year, my partner Sky. My stepmom's dad passed away recently. My auntie passed away in 2023 and my great aunt just passed away a couple of weeks ago. So 2023 was the first time I lost a lot of people who had been in my life for a long time or people who were really important to me in my life. My granddad passing away was really difficult for me because my parents, when I was younger, were working all the time. And so to give us the best life that they could. So my grandma and granddad raised us, and my granddad also was my only granddad. I don't know my pop on my mum's side. So I only had one granddad. And so that was obviously really difficult losing him. But I will say he lived a great life. He was 93. He'd battled all these different cancers and all the rest of it. And so it was bittersweet because it was like he's gone and we obviously knew he was dying, so we got to say goodbye and things. And at the same time it was almost nice because I was like, you've lived your life and you've done everything you wanted to do and say la vie, and good on ya, goodbye, see you later. And then on the other end of the spectrum to that, Sky, my partner's mum, passing away was very unexpected. She was sick, but we didn't expect her to pass away this year. And that was really difficult as well because I was like, how the heck do you support someone going through that. And so it really was like a roller coaster of a year. But the thing that most people, I guess, have been interested in for 2023 was my year of health, which I decided to do. I was inspired by Rebel Wilson, one of my favorite actresses ever. She said in an interview in like December of 2021, which is when I first found out about it, that she'd done this. She did a year of health in 2020, but she didn't talk about it till the end of 2021. So 2022, I was like, I'm going to do a year of health. Yeah, that was a fail. That didn't happen. And so when 2023 was rolling around, I was like, right, I'm going to give it a red hot go. So year of health was always meant to be like a whole year thing. And it was also a side hustle goal. Like it wasn't my main thing. I was like, I'll just work on that as well. Like I had my word of the year that I was working towards. But then so many people were interested in it that it kind of became like a main focus in a way. So on the 4th of January, I wrote in my notes app some things that I wanted to do to achieve my year of health. I want to say my biggest piece of advice, if you're setting goals at this New Year's time, the biggest thing that helped me in 2023 is basing my goals on process-based or behavior-based goals and not the outcome. What I mean by that, a good example is like if your goal is, the outcome is, I want to save $1,000. That's the outcome. Instead of making your goal, I want to save $1,000, you make your goal things like, I want to spend less money on takeaway because you in turn will spend less money and in turn save the $1,000. But the $1,000 isn't like your goal you're working towards, even though you are. It's the behaviors that will help you get there. And I think that's one thing that really changed my life this year is making the goals behavior-based and not like setting an outcome or numbers that I wanted to achieve and things like that. Also, I don't say no when it comes to goals. Never been the person to say no. So it's not no takeaway food, because that's unrealistic. It's just order less takeaway food. So yeah, you implement behaviors that will help you achieve the end goal. And my end goal was to feel healthy. So to give you a look at the start of 2023 for me, I felt unhealthy on the inside. I was like living an unhealthy life. I had unhealthy habits. I was like ordering takeaway food, like food delivery services, like 3 times a day. If I wasn't doing that, I was ordering it twice a day and going out for dinner for the 3rd meal. I was never cooking my own meals. I never wanted to leave the house. I had my assistant, who was also my best friend, doing things like the groceries for me. So it's like not like I was even leaving the house just to get a few steps in while doing the groceries. Like I had someone doing that for me. If I needed something for a video, well, I was paying him to go and do it for me. So I really was living that lady of leisure life, you know what I mean? Although I was still working hard the whole time, like I wasn't doing all those mundane jobs that, you know, just get you up and moving.
Yep.
I also never drank water. I never really left the house unless I was going out for dinner or to eat something or to like events and stuff. But I guess that's kind of work. And I just never would really like get off the lounge. And so Year of Health was meant to start in January. But of course, as I kind of just explained, my granddad passed away. I went to New Zealand. We then came back. I had World Pride. Straight after that, I had my Adelaide shows. Straight after that, I went to South Africa. And so it was like everything was happening and I couldn't really focus on my Year of Health because just, you know, everything was going on. And then I got to South Africa. I worked with I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. And I was put into the jungle and treated like one of the actual celebs on the show. Before the celebs went in, I did like some social pieces and things like that if you didn't see the content. And I did the trials and, you know, put my hand in the box with the snakes and stuff like that. During this time, Channel 10 was footing the bloody bill, love. So I was ordering 2 bottles of rosé with every meal. I was having 3 breakfasts if I wanted to because it was all included with like the lodge I was staying at. I was with the PR social kind of team and stuff, like publicity team from Channel 10. They were like, we're going out for dinner, we're doing this, we're doing that. And I just like did everything. Then they put me in the jungle and they fed me 1 spoonful of oats over like 48 hours. And my like body didn't really cope with that. I remember walking upstairs in the jungle to like the little diary room thing. It's like you just walk up a few rocks and then you're in this like, they call it the tok toki. And I remember like getting to the top, sitting down to do my like social videos and being like, I'm going to need 5 minutes because I just walked up 5 stairs and I can't breathe. So I saw a lot of signs in South Africa that like my body was very, very unhealthy. And the thing that really got me was, you know, after eating nothing, after doing the trial, putting my hand in the box with the snakes and whatnot, and the adrenaline from that and all the rest of it, as I got back to the camp, I fainted. and then had a panic attack because I had fainted, because I've never fainted in my life. And that it really spooked me. And I know I'm a drama queen, but I'm not really a drama queen. I don't like making a fuss, you know? Like when I went into hospital with kidney stones, remember I was screaming, but I was like, I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? And it was very much like that. Like I was like, I don't know what happened. And I feel like that was my body like giving me a sign to be like, you have to stop living this lifestyle. And I need to stress as well, this has nothing to do with being fat. Like this, for me, it was like all the things I was doing in my life were really unhealthy. Like no exercise,
it's just your lifestyle.
Eating crap. It was the lifestyle. It wasn't about like my size or anything like that. So after I got back from South Africa, I planned, that was in early April, I planned to have May off anyway because I'd had such an intense first 4 months of the year. And I was like, I don't want to do any work in May. And I brought that forward to April and was like, I'm just calling it quits now as soon as I touch back down in Australia. And so I looked back at my year of health notes and I was like, right, time to give this a red hot go. I'm having a month off work. I'm going to give this all I've got and like see how it goes. So let me take you through the year of health. These were the things on my list of things that I wanted to achieve, and I'll tell you whether I achieved them or not. So first on the list was I wanted to exercise 3 to 4 times a week. Again, we're using vague terms with my goals. Exercise 3 to 4 times a week. That doesn't mean go to the gym 5 times a week. That doesn't mean do a 1 hour workout every day of the week. It's like realistically exercise 3 to 4 times a week. What does that look like? It could be a short half an hour walk. It could be a 2-hour walk. It could be a 10-minute dance workout. And definitely when I was first starting, that's all I could do is walk around the block for 5 minutes because I was so unfit. And yeah, now I'm definitely exercising 3 to 4 times a week, whether that's just like a walk with a friend or whatever it may be, a weighted hula hoop doll, you know, you never know. The second one on the list was order less takeaway, which actually this is going to shock you, Brittany. So as I said, I used to order off delivery apps 3 times a day some days because I'd get myself breakfast, I'd get myself lunch, I'd always have Subway every day for lunch, and then I'd have whatever I'd like for dinner as well. And I went back last night as I was figuring out what I was going to talk about, and I was like, I wonder how well I've actually done at the ordering less takeaway. And I mean, there's other times that I've ordered takeaway, but I looked at my Uber Eats app because that's probably the one I use the most, even though I use a lot of the apps that are available. And it said that in the last 8 months since I started this year of health journey in April, I ordered 6 times.
Wow.
Which is mind-blowing to me. I didn't realize it was that little. There were a couple times on top of that I had ordered my groceries, but I don't think they count.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was just too busy to go do the groceries. But I go and do my own groceries now. So
well done.
You know, life's changing. The third one on the list was more cooked meals at home, which of course, if you're ordering less takeaway, I'm obviously cooking more meals at home. Number 4 was increase fruit and veg intake. I've really stepped up the veg intake, but I haven't increased my fruit. I don't think I'm a fruit person.
That's so interesting. I feel like I'm the opposite, and a lot of people would be the opposite. Like it's easier for them to eat fruit than it is veggies.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
I think exactly the same thing. I do know that I'm a bit weird, that I don't like fruit, but I'm loving vegetables. I think because vegetables are so easy to add to a meal.
Yeah.
So fruit not so easy to add to a meal.
No, you just got to eat it on its own.
Yeah. So, and I just rather would not have like a banana or an apple. I'd just rather have like something else. So haven't increased my fruit, but I think I'm okay with that because I've stepped up my veg intake so much. Now, this one's really interesting and one of the biggest ones. Number 5 on the list was cut down on alcohol. Now, I said in brackets 1 to 2 drinks versus 9 to 10 because I was going through, like in 2022, I found myself in December. There were just a lot of events on. And, you know, at these events, there's usually free drinks. And if you have 10 drinks at an event, but you've got 4 events a week, there's 40 drinks a week that I'm drinking.
Wow.
Which is so disgusting to say out loud, but your brain doesn't process that in the moment.
No.
And I never thought about it till I figured that out. And I went, that's actually full on, right? So again, this is another goal. I don't say no alcohol. I just said cut down to 1 to 2 drinks at an event.
Yep.
But then I found that wasn't really satisfying me. So I was like, why even bother? So I actually went to no alcohol. And from April to my birthday in October, I didn't have any alcohol at all. Then I had a couple drinks on my birthday and I felt really trashed the next day. And I was like, well, that wasn't enjoyable. And then in November, I had 1 glass of Savvy Bee with a friend because it was just a very long week. And I was like, maybe this will make me feel better. And it didn't. And I think like it's so weird. My relationship with alcohol has definitely changed. Probably one of the biggest like things for me, because I was such a drinker. I was a party girl. I was like, yep, let's go. Long Island iced teas. Let's get straight to it.
You know, I read online the other day that there's more calories in a Long Island iced tea than a Big Mac.
Worth it. And that's the other thing about alcohol is you also, not that I like calorie track or anything like that, but like to think that I might have 4 Long Island iced teas, but I'd never eat 4 Big Macs.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I think it's because it's liquid. You just never really think of it.
Yeah. So I'm really proud of myself with alcohol, and I think my relationship has definitely changed, and I just don't need it. I'm like, why bother? And also, I just don't have any interest in it. It's really weird because I got a bar cart full of alcohol at home.
It's just
I'm
for
like
the
trying
aesthetics.
to palm it off to all my friends. The next one on the list was grow my fingernails.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, I know it doesn't really go in with like the year of health, but
I
like,
feel like biting your nails is an unhealthy little habit. Not that like is that bad.
yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, I'm just too much of an anxious person for this one to have hit. This is the only one that I didn't hit this year, and I'm okay with that as well. I think there were some times throughout the year where I really gave it a good go and it was working and I had nails.
Have you tried that gross nail polish that tastes bad?
Yeah, and then it gets all over your food though, so I don't like using it. But I mean, you heard all of the things that I've been through this year and I was just not coping and I was like, sorry, got to bite my nails because that's just my crutch with my anxiety. I'm like, that's the thing that I do.
We'll let that one slide.
So maybe this year, if no one passes away, I might be able to grow my nails. But last year it was a little bit rough. You know what I mean? Next one was get back on top of skincare. I did that easily. The next one was get more sun, in brackets, safely. Obviously, we don't want skin cancer. But again, I didn't leave the house. And if I was leaving the house, it was for dinner. So the sun wasn't out. So whether that meant going for walks, still with a hat on, sunscreen, sunglasses, whether that meant, I've just found my new love for the beach. So going to the beach, but being under an umbrella and things like that. Just getting outside and doing more. Going for a coffee, but we're still sitting in the shade. So it was like get more sun just meant like be outside. I've definitely done that more this year, and I think that's really helped my life. The next one is good sleeping pattern. This was going so well for a very long time, but I think that one thing I need to work on in 2024 is my time management, because my sleeping pattern only shifts when I'm too busy and I find myself doing all my work at 1 a.m. I'm not just up at 1 a.m. just like frolicking around, doing nothing, just, eating chips on the lounge and watching Netflix. Like most of the time, I'm up at that time because that's the time that I'm like, shit, I got to get all my work done. You know what I mean?
It's like your brain is wired at night.
Yeah. So the good sleeping pattern, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as it used to be. So I'm giving that a tick as well. And the last one is so exciting, increase water intake. I now exclusively drink water and I never thought I'd be able to give up soft drink. I was such a vanilla Coke girly. I was like Pepsi Max, give it to me every day straight. All the rest of it. After South Africa was like, because I drank cream soda over there, which is a bit different to our creaming soda we have here, but similar vibes. I drank so much of that I was like, oh my gosh, I just need to just have water for a little bit. And I did. And I mean, now I only drink water. The water will be flavored. Like I might put some Diet Right cordial in it, or I might have a protein water, which I've fallen in love with this year. So there might be some flavorings in it, but it's always water. So that's all of the goals that I had on my year of health. And I hit all of them except the fingernail one, which I don't really care about.
No, that's like the least important one anyway.
Yeah, so I'm like patting myself on the back with that. And it's been great. I want to stress, I still feel the same about myself mentally, but physically I do feel so much better. And I want to stress that because like I need to address the elephant in the room here, that like I did lose a lot of weight during the year of health process, even though when I wrote those goals on January 4, it was never about weight loss, and it still isn't about weight loss, but it was just about feeling healthier. But I think like I can't talk about this without also addressing the fact that like I've lost weight because people are commenting on it. People are, noticing and things like that. I still think you shouldn't be commenting on people's bodies. No. I still think that even if you think it's a compliment, it can still be really damaging. I think you just shouldn't comment on someone's body, whether they've lost weight, put on weight, changed somehow, something's happened. I just still am trying to push the message so hard that you should not be commenting on anyone else's body.
Why
Full
is
stop.
it that in the world, like it's just such a thing, isn't it, for people to make comments?
Yeah. And I think we've done a really good job of not commenting on people's bodies in a negative way.
Yeah.
I would love to see society now start to work on not commenting on people's bodies in a positive way, because that can be just as damaging. And I'll kind of explain, because things that people have been saying to me could be something along the lines of, and I know that everyone thinks it's a compliment, but to me, I really struggle with it. And it's really weird because I didn't struggle when people called me fat. But now when they say things like, you seem happier, my brain goes to, is this internalized fat phobia? Because are you just thinking that I'm happier because I'm now skinnier? Like, is that where that's coming from? Because I've had a fucking rough year. I'm not happier. There's no way I'm happier after what I've been through. So you being like, you seem happier. I'm like, I don't know where the fuck that's coming from, because I'm not. I feel the same as what I did in January of 2023. I think as well, people saying things like, you're looking healthy. That's disgusting to me, because realistically what you're saying is fat equals unhealthy, which, like, go back to when I was my heavier weight, my blood work, clear. The doctor was like, you are the healthiest fat person I've ever seen. And like, we joke about it. And I had all my bloods were fine. And then I lose a bit of weight. We got kidney stones. We got bloody plantar fasciitis fucking up. We got my blood work now is lacking. Like, so it's like, well, what's healthier? What is healthy? Let's have that conversation. Not right now though. But what is healthy?
I wonder why people always feel the need to make those comments, even if they're not directly about someone's appearance. Just comments like that, like, you're looking good. Like, why do people feel like they even have to make the comment?
They think it's coming from a really nice place. I understand why they make the comment, because they think they're giving a compliment, and who doesn't want a compliment?
Yeah.
My thing is, the biggest one that I really hate is the one that says, you're looking so good.
It's like they're comparing.
Well, my brain goes, what you mean to say is, you're looking so good now. You didn't before.
Yeah.
Or you look better.
Yeah.
And that really doesn't sit well with me, because as I said, my mind still is the same. I loved myself in January 2023, and I love myself just as much in 2024. Because don't forget, I had the weight loss journey and kind of fixed the mental aspect of it quite a few years ago. We've spoken about that on the podcast before. I'd lost the weight. I still didn't like myself. And I went, why am I trying to lose weight to be hot when I still feel shit, even though I've lost all my weight and I'm at my goal weight and things. So that's kind of like been repaired in my psyche. So going through this in 2023, like, that didn't really faze me. And that's why I feel exactly the same. I still stand by everything I did in January 2023. Fat and fabulous. You know, you are worthy no matter the size. Beautiful no matter the size. Whatever. Don't comment on people's bodies. Still stand by all of that. I think if you take one thing from today's episode, it's like, if you do notice that someone, I mean, some people may like when people comment saying you've lost weight.
Personal preference.
But like, I think you got to figure that out about the person before you do that, because I've really struggled with it. One of the biggest things as well is, for so long, my body was not something we spoke about. And people never brought up my body. And now it's the first thing they say when they see me.
What do you think people can say instead? Like, is it, just, you look nice today? Or like, what is it that you think people can say?
Well, if you want to compliment someone, compliment things that aren't appearance-based.
I love your outfit.
I love your outfit. That's such a cute top.
Yeah. Your skin is glowing today.
Yeah.
Your hair looks nice.
Yeah. If you're so compelled to give someone a compliment.
Yeah. Think of other things.
Then think of other things than like body or things like that. The only other thing that I want to say that I've struggled with is the Ozempic epidemic.
What have people been saying?
Because everyone just goes to, must be on Ozempic. I've actually had to block the word Ozempic from my comment section. And I'll clear up the rumors right now. Am I on Ozempic? No. I'm not on, and I never have been. And I haven't been on any of those injecty like things ever. And even if I was, don't have to tell you. My business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The weirdest thing is how open people are to just bring up Ozempic face to face as well. I mean, I get a lot of comments online, but like face to face, I went to a Christmas party not long ago, and the first thing someone said to me when I walked in the room was, oh my gosh, what have you been doing? You on the Ozempic diet, Joel? I'm like, that's not fucking funny, and you've ruined my night. And I lasted 45 minutes at the party. It like put a sour taste in my mouth, and I left because I was like, if all I've got when I walk into the room, if the first thing you want to talk about is my body, you can fuck off. You know what I mean?
The world's pretty cooked.
It is cooked, but I think it takes someone like me to say it for people to go, oh yeah, that is pretty cooked, that we just like say that about people. So I can't wait for the Ozempic epidemic and everyone thinking that everyone's on Ozempic to be over. For the wrap up, I'm happy I did it. I just want to stress I still feel exactly the same way about myself. But again, I feel physically better. So that was my 2023 year of health wrap up. As I said, I always set a word of the year for myself. So in 2022, it was stabilize. In 2023, it was flourish. I said at the start of the episode, it was originally discovery, but I changed it to flourish because I felt like in the end of 2022, I was really starting to flourish into who I was. And I feel like even though everything I went through last year in 2023, I flourished in 2020. I feel like I stepped into who I was. I figured out who I was, who I wanted to be, and really flourished in my life, in my relationships, in this podcast, like all those sorts of things. And so my 2024 word of the year is transcend, which is like exceed all expectations, go above and beyond, do more than I thought, level up in my business, start new businesses, transcend into the next stage of my life. Because of course I'm 30 this year as well. So it's like, really level up in a way is what I mean by that. So
I still see you as 25, by the way.
I know. I still see myself as 23, babes. I'll be 23
still see
till I'm
you
40.
as like way younger than me for some reason, even though we're like a year apart.
Yeah. Like literally, I always am like, I'm 19, fully. But yeah, I would highly recommend setting a word of the year. If you're not someone who likes a New Year's resolution or you can't think of any behavior-based goals, then my next advice for you is set a word that you just want to manifest the vibes for, because there's no real expectations with that.
No.
Like last year, I just told myself flourish, and I did.
Yep.
Because what does that mean? Well, it's up to the year to decide. You know what I mean? And then last of all, sorry, we're going overtime here, but you can deal with it. Rate 5 stars. I also in 2023 became a Swiftie, and I have some lyrics, which, I don't have any tattoos, but if I could get something tattooed on me, it might be these lyrics, but they're too long and I'm not taking up all the space.
It's a whole back piece.
I'm not taking up the space. It's from the Taylor Swift song Marjorie. And when I first heard these lyrics, they like sent chills down my spine. And I was like, wow, that speaks to me. And the lyrics are, never be so kind, you forget to be clever. Never be so clever, you forget to be kind. Never be so polite, you forget your power. And never wield such power, you forget to be polite. Which is obviously all about balance. And that really spoke to me because I feel like I am very kind, but sometimes I'm too kind and I forget to be clever and something might stuff me over because I've trusted someone too much or been too kind. And then, of course, other times I go, oh, this is a really good idea and I'd be clever, but maybe I might step on someone's toes. So like those lyrics are just something that I want to take with me throughout life forever, not just in 2024. And yeah, I feel like I'm powerful, but I got to remember to be polite. And I feel like I am polite, but I also can't let people walk all over me.
Life is all about balance.
And I'm a Libra after all. So Libra energy, balance, baby. This has felt like one big fucking therapy session.
That will be $550, please.
And do you have any advice for me after the therapy session? Like, what did you figure out about my psyche?
I think you're on a great path. I think you did really well in 2023. So well done, Matt. I feel like going on a year of health is definitely very inspiring. And I feel like that's something that everyone can do in one way or another. It doesn't have to be, a million different things that people want to achieve. It can be something as little as drinking more water, which I'm taking away from your year of health because I'm that girl that literally drinks a can of V and a coffee before I have a sip of water. So I'm definitely inspired from your year of health. And overall, my evaluation of you is you are healthy and well. That's my psychology moving forward with all green lights to go.
Yeah.
That's my
Well, I
evaluation
haven't
of
set
you.
any like year of health goals for 2024. All I'm taking with me is transcend. So that's all
Love
I'm
that
hoping
for you.
for. And we'll see how this year goes. But anyway, thank you so much for listening to me ramble on this whole episode.
You're welcome.
I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, rate us 5 stars. You can follow us everywhere else. For me, search All Right Hey.
And for me, search Brittany Saunders therapist.
Now, next week, we are back in full swing with our regular episodes. The High Scrollers you know and love is back. We're back from holidays. Don't worry. We're ready to get back into the swing of it.
We're transcending
Yeah,
into
we're
the podcast.
transcending back into the podcast. I love it. See, you're on board. Isn't it good? Word of the year. It works, Joel. Speaking of which, I better let you go, Joel. I've got to go transcend.